Hi, long time no talk. So I'm gonna do a disclaimer right now. This is not a trucking video. So if you are gonna be like, "Ooh, this isn't a trucking video," not a trucking video, just don't. Just stop watching the video right now because it's not a trucking video if that's what you're looking for. So in regards to the truck, I actually am planning on going back to Prime in about a month. So yay, I'm excited. I'm still here in New York. My mom's still sick, but this isn't about that. I just wanted to get that out of the way right now. Moving on. So this is something I've actually been meaning to post for a long time now. I don't know what's making me want to post this video, but I do want to post this video, and I think it's important, just in case there are any people, you know, guys or girls that are going through some shit in a relationship. This is in regards to a relationship that I had back in 2013, 2014. I was in my early 20s at the time. And I'm going to take you through this relationship from start to finish so you can see the roller coaster of a ride. And if anybody's in a situation where they think that they're being treated badly, it might seem hard to get out of the situation, but in the long run, I'm getting text messages. Oh my God. In the long run, if you do it, you'll look back and say, thank God I got out of that situation, because take my word for it, it's not worth it. Nobody's worth being treated badly. So I'll take you through this relationship from start to finish. Trying to think of what was going on at the time. I'm gonna have to change this guy's name because I don't want to start shit. He's gonna know, if he sees this video, he's gonna know it's about him. But I'll do you a favor, buddy. I'll change your name because I don't want to hear from you, and I don't want to hear about you talking about me. I don't want anything. So, I'll do you a favor on that. Let's call him Dan. We'll call him Dan, all right? Back in 2013, I was single, newly single. You know, I'm very heavy on social media. I always have been. It's not one of my best attributes, but whatever. It's something I do. So I was talking about how single I am. I'm sure that's how that went. I'm not 100%, but I was single. People on Facebook were aware. And there was a kid that I met. Apparently, I met him. Well, I remember meeting him. I just didn't realize it was the same guy at first. But he knew who I was. He met me back in 2007. So, like, 4 years earlier than that. He met me. And what was that? I just heard, like, a sound. That was weird. 4 years earlier, he met me at a party at my house, and I was very drunk, and I guess he thought I was cute. He remembered me, whatever, and he added me on Facebook, like, sometime in, like, 2012, and he was following, you know, what was going on in my life, and he would comment on my posts, and, you know, he seemed like he had my back, and he seemed, you know, very like-minded. He was into music like me. We were into the same types of bands. I thought he was really, really cute. Like, I did. Not when I first met him. When I first met him, you know, we met. I remembered meeting him, but he didn't, he actually had a black eye when I met him, which was my first hint, because apparently he got into a fight with his dad. Felt really sorry for him when I met him, but there's more to that story than meets the eye, I'm sure. So I wasn't really attracted to him when I first met him, but looking through his pictures, I thought he was kind of cute, whatever. He was living in, I think, Texas or Hawaii for a while, and I was in New York, and he's from New York, the area where I was living at the time. He was, you know, always commenting on my pictures, liking my pictures of me, telling me, you know, how cool I was, talking to me, asking me how I was doing. He seemed really interested in me, and I wasn't, like, thinking about starting a relationship with this guy. I just kind of, you know, I was interested in being his friend, and I thought he was kind of cute. He moved back to New York, and I was actually the one that picked him up from the train station. He took a train. I picked him up there, and I brought him to his parents' house, and I met his parents, and they were kind of like, not like me. Let's just say very rednecky. They were nice, you know, they seemed nice. They were just loud, and I don't know. My first impression of them was just, you know, like, whatever. But they lived in the country. Their house had, like, I don't know, walls missing, and, like, they were doing work on the house that looked like it'd been ongoing for years. The kitchen didn't have a sink, stuff like that, but whatever. I was not judgmental at all. I thought, you know, oh, these people are nice, whatever. So Dan and I started to hang out more and more and more, and I started to really realize that I liked him a lot. I'm trying to think of like when we actually decided we were in a relationship and how that went. I could have probably collected my thoughts better before I made this video, but I kind of just wanted to roll with it. I don't know, he made me feel really good about myself. And I really liked him. And I didn't see any reason why I couldn't date him. I was actually really excited about him. I felt a huge connection with him. Like, I remember looking into his eyes. He had dark eyes just like me. And I would say that he looks like he could be the father of my children one day. And I really loved him a lot. Like, I mean, if that was love, it was pretty soon to be feeling that way, but I felt really into him. And I remember we would cuddle, and that went on for about 2 weeks. We didn't like sleep together or anything. We would just be hanging out all the time. And we started sleeping together, and that was actually really good. Like, my computer just turned off, took away my lighting. That's okay. We seemed compatible, let's just say that. And, you know, time went on, and, ooh, I should have mentioned this, but I'm just going to throw it in now. So, at the beginning of our relationship, when we started dating, I was in a band. And I also, and in my band was all male members. I wasn't interested in any of them. And I had just gotten out of a relationship with, like I said, I was newly single. It just wasn't working out. And that's a whole nother story that you guys, it's really not important. The guy wasn't a bad guy. It just wasn't working out. So we were still living together because we were friends before we started dating. So he had his own room across, like on the other side of the apartment. I had my own room. It was something that worked for us. I'm not saying it was ideal, but when Dan and I got into this relationship, he was well aware of my situation. So, like, if you're going to get in a relationship with somebody, the situation isn't ideal, and you don't like the situation, don't get in a relationship with them. It's kind of that simple. But he knew what was going on. He was actually spending the night at my place. So once we started dating, like, I started noticing, like, little things. Like, he started giving me a hard time about living with my ex and making me feel bad about it. He actually got into a fight with my ex, which started to get physical for no reason. I don't even know why that happened. It was really awkward, and I kind of blamed my ex for it, but in hindsight, I know Dan initiated that because I've never met anybody so violent. Like I said, I met him, he had a black eye. Like, come on. I was getting hints here and there, you know. He started to give me a hard time about my band, started to, like, you know, make me feel bad about being in this band with all these guys. The comments started to get, you know, more and more personal. Like, he told me things like, you're not even that talented. They're just in the band with you because they want to fuck you. Like, you know, saying that, accusing me of having sex with my ex when I wasn't, because why would I had somebody to do that with. Like, come on, dude. I don't know. So, and he was my ex, like, you know what I mean? Like, I wasn't, like, trying to. And one thing that I also, oh my goodness, my glasses are very reflective. One thing I forgot to add was when I started dating him, I had dreads, which is something he liked about me, and he expressed that he liked about me, but then he complained that they were too scratchy, and no one, like, made me cut them off, but he pretty much talked me into cutting them off. Told me they weren't really that attractive. He told me that my smile was ugly, so now I'm, like, really self-conscious, because, like, you know, my teeth and stuff. There were a lot of things that actually have stuck with me, negative things that I'm working on constantly, but these are things that nobody has to deal with. All right, back to the story. Sorry, guys, I just wanted to add that. He would say these, like, weird, insecure things, and it progressed, and I just, you know, I tried to, like, I think my whole relationship with him was me proving to him that I loved him. Like, I always had to, like, validate everything I did to prove to him that I loved him, and I did. I really wanted to be with him. I don't know why now, thinking back on it, he was, you know, because things started out really good. Like I said, the chemistry was there. It started out well. Eventually, he talked me into getting a new place with him and not living with my ex anymore, which I thought, you know, maybe that's a good idea because this is getting kind of messy. You're fighting with my ex, and nobody needs to be in that situation. I felt bad for my ex. I felt bad for my boyfriend at the time. I felt bad for me. I'm like, okay. So I went and I got another apartment with him. I was at that point kind of in charge of all the bills because was between jobs at the time. I don't know what happened. He ended up quitting his job. I don't know why. He was working at like Sam's Club or something. I don't know. And so I was taking care of all the bills, and I forgot to pay the electric, I guess, and the electric went out. So his initial reaction, and this was like when we first moved in. I don't know how this I think we were only there for a couple weeks. I think what happened was I forgot to switch the electric into my name. I don't know what it was. But you know, he could have done that too. He could have. Why is my Focus doing that? That's really annoying. It's like wobbly, 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 whatever. So he left me alone with no power, and he went and stayed with his mom, and he said that I was like irresponsible and immature, and this was like after he like talked me into getting a place with him. I'm trying to just think of the highlights, you know, because this went on for like a year and a half, and I don't want to make too many details, but so that was like something that he would do, and his mom would start to like talk him into like not being with me. They didn't like that I'm Jewish, so I'm not even religious. It's just literally, it's in my DNA. So I don't know what I could have done about that, really. I'm getting really annoyed by what my phone camera is doing. It needs to stop. Like, I'm not even moving that much. Did it stop? Okay. I think I'm gonna have to edit this because I can't remember. I don't know. He was trying to change me all the time. He was trying to just constantly just pick at me, and like, it was funny because at the time, I actually only had my, I didn't even have my GED. So his mom kind of like was like, she doesn't even have her GED, blah, 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 blah. Mind you, Dan couldn't even hold a job down. So whatever about him. But one good thing that came from that was it actually encouraged me to get my GED and to go back to school. And I started college again. So at 22 years old or something like that, I got my GED, went back to school, and I was doing really well, actually. So as much as it hurt and it sucked, you know, it pushed me to be better because I didn't want people to say horrible things about me. And actually, I wanted to feel good about myself, too. So not that school's really done anything for me because I'm going to go drive a truck, and you don't really need school for that. So except for CDL school, but you know what I mean. My business degree and my digital media degree isn't really doing anything for my trucking career right now. So he did a lot of like constantly like, okay, so I'd be at band practice, these kinds of things started to happen, and he would call me over and over and over and over and over again. And then when I get home, he'd flip out on me, and he'd like accuse me of cheating, but I'm like, or I'm at a show. I remember one time I was at a show, and he was really mad that I was doing the show. I wanted him to come and see me and support me, but he didn't want me to do the show. And he ended up getting in an accident on his way to his parents' house, which I know it sounds crazy, but I think he did it on purpose. Like, he was the kind of guy to do that. But that doesn't matter, really. He called me, said he was in an accident. This is after he was already, like, you know, fighting with me all day. And I said, I'll be there after the show. Like, just, I have, like, half a set left, and I'll be there. And, like, you know, I don't even think he went to the hospital. Like, I think he just went straight home, so it wasn't really that big of a deal. He was like, no, my parents are coming to pick you up, and if you don't, you know, come see me right now, then you don't even love me. And I'm like, okay. So I actually left my show in the middle of a show that we were getting paid for, and got picked up by his parents, and they were like mad at me, and I'm just like, I'm here, like, I don't know, you know, what else I can do. And that was something that he held over my head because I gave him a hard time about, you know, doing that. And it eventually, you know, the accusations and everything else, everything became physical after a while. So he started to, like, I remember one time we had a roommate at the time, and I don't remember what happened. He was like telling me I was doing something that I wasn't doing, and I was like crying, and I was like, I swear, Dan, I didn't, whatever he accused me of doing. And he ended up throwing me on the ground, and I actually have a lump here from my a rib getting like fractured or something. And then he squirted ketchup on me, which was weird. I don't know why he did that. He was always trying to do like these degrading things to me. And later, like, after, because we would have these breakups where he would go to his parents' house and he wouldn't talk to me and he would leave me there, and I told him, like, I have a lump here and I think I might have cancer, and he's just like, good, I hope you have cancer and I hope you die. And he said that to me, and I'm like, that's fucked up. And he took all of my clothes and like destroyed them and like stomped on them in the mud. He broke all of my guitars that my mother gave me when I was in high school, which are irreplaceable. And as some of you know, my mom is actually dying of cancer right now. So this is part of the reason I'm thinking about these things, because that was like really messed up that he did that. I don't want to make this video too long, so I'm going to kind of cut it short. I'm sure I'm leaving out a ton of details. I had friends that were worried about me because he like, I was trying to like get him to move out and he wouldn't move out. So I basically, luckily I had a really cool landlord and there was an empty apartment downstairs. He just would not leave and he was claiming squatters' rights. Like, he was as petty as they come. So I had to move into the apartment downstairs, and he was like doing everything he could to make my life miserable from upstairs. And I remember I had friends come to like help me with something. I don't remember what it was, but he was like yelling at me in the driveway and actually pushed me down in front of like my two male friends, two of the people I was in the band with. They're not fighters, so like they were just like kind of like, what do we do? Like, they wanted to fight him, but it didn't. We were all just like, what the fuck do we do? And I wasn't even with him at this point. And then eventually he had to leave the apartment upstairs because I had the power turned off, and he was pissed at me about that. And it's just like, you're not paying for that, so you're not using my power, sorry. And there's a dog outside barking, and Lily's gonna get upset about that. Lily, stop. So it was like winter at this point. I guess he was constantly so he would like go live with his parents for a while and then get in fights with his parents and come home crying and tell me he's sorry. And he would do this like, I'm so sorry, I'm just really fucked up and I'm having a hard time, blah 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 blah, and I love you. And and I would be dumb and I would let him come back. So this was after, we'd been broken up for a while. He was pounding on my door one night. It was like snowing out, and he was in a t-shirt, and he said he had nowhere else to go, and his mom threw him out. So at first I was like, no, but then I was like, okay, you can stay. And I had a tablet at the time, like a little shitty like Samsung tablet. It was cheap, but I told him he could use it because he had no phone or whatever, and that he could use it to text me on. And so I let him use my tablet. A couple nights after he came back, I had to go do a show, which, I was still trying to do my band thing. I went to go do a show, and I think this was with a different band, because I think I had already quit my band because of him. So I started a band with a couple other people after him and I broke up. So I went to go do a show. He knew I was going. He knew he was lucky that I let him come back and stay with me. And while I was gone, he tried to call everybody in my band and blow up their Facebook Messenger and call them and whatever. I don't know what he expected me to do. Like, he expected me to leave in the middle of a show. I had basically said to him, like, listen, if this is how it's going to be, you got to leave. Like, you can't be doing this. Like, I let you come back. Like, because I felt bad for you because you said you had nowhere else to go. I came home. He had punched a hole in my wall. He'd broken a bunch of my stuff. And I forgot to mention that tablet that I gave him was smashed when I came home after that show. Just wanted to add that. So I went home and I told him he needed to get out. Like, I was done with him. At that point, we were sleeping on a mattress on the floor that a friend had given us because we were just really broke. We didn't make a good team, let's just say that much, as far as financial stuff went. So we were sleeping on a mattress on the floor. He was just the pettiest person I've ever met. He took my mattress with him, which ended up sitting at his parents' house outside in the snow and got ruined. So he left me with no bed, so I had to sleep on the couch. He took the pillows that I bought and cut them with a knife, and he ended up throwing me on the ground, punching me, spitting on me. I called the police. That's how I finally got him out of there. I called the police. He said he would never forgive me, blah, 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 blah. The police came. They made him leave. But he destroyed a bunch of my shit before he left, of course. And they asked if I wanted to press charges, and I, made a police report. I ended up dropping the charges. Lily, stop. I ended up dropping the charges because he did his thing where, oh, now I have this on my record forever, blah, 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 blah. And I was just being nice. I wasn't, interested in, dating him again or anything. But I ended up dropping the charges because I'm just a sap like that. I don't know what my problem is. I actually really cared about this guy. And that's what made it really hard to actually end it, because I knew he had issues. Like, he had a messed up family life. He was constantly getting thrown out of his house since he was like 13 or something. I don't know. But he was like doing things like stealing from his parents and stuff. But his parents were never holding him accountable for any of his actions either, other than throwing him out and then letting him come back. So that's kind of like, I guess I wished I could have fixed him. A lot of other things happened. I'm not gonna like get into the whole thing with you, but I guess the point of me sharing this video is like so that maybe if anybody's going through something like this, and this was a long time ago, but it still haunts me to this day, like what happened. It's made me stronger, because now when people start to make me uncomfortable in a relationship, I have no problem telling them to get lost before it gets that bad. If someone's yelling at me and screaming at me and making me uncomfortable, I'm just like, I can't do this. I've already been there. It's not happening again. And you know what? I'm 30 years old right now. I don't have any kids. I'm single now. I'd prefer it that way. Like, I'd prefer it that way than to be dealing with that kind of shit, because that will kill you quicker than anything else. The stress from that, I couldn't tell you. Like, I can't tell you how grateful I am that I love myself enough to have gotten out of that situation. And it was not easy. I was trying to get rid of that guy for a really long time. So, and then I would always take him back, which was my mistake. I should have just left it, you know, what it was. I know that this is like a, you know, whatever, different from what I usually post. When I get back on the road, I'll get back into the trucking stuff. But I just wanted to give you guys that extra push. If there's somebody out there that's watching this, that's going through any of this kind of stuff, whether you're a guy or a girl or whatever you identify as, I just want you to know that you are better than that. Nobody should be put through that. And you know what? I still feel bad for Dan. I still feel bad for the dude that, you know, I fell in love with, because I know he's in there somewhere. He's just fucked up and he needs a lot of therapy, but it's not your job to fix anybody. The only thing you have control over in this life is yourself. So make sure you keep that in mind. You remember that. And I hope you all have a good day. And sorry if this was too long and drawn on, but this is for somebody. It might not be for you. So, you know, whatever. Have a good one, and I will be in touch soon. Bye. The song is called Another Sad Song. The day you first came along, I swore I'd never write another sad song. Well, here's one more sad song for you. After everything you put me through, we had a dream, a house on a hill. My self-esteem had to be killed. I clung to you so desperately, with everything you took from me. And I couldn't hate you if I wanted to. I tried to give you something real to hold on to. And all I want is to get close to you, and all I want is to get over you. I don't understand how you could possibly hate me, why you decided you couldn't date me. You left me here all alone. You won't even answer your fucking phone. And I couldn't hate you if I wanted to. I tried to give you something real to hold on to give you something that you could belong to.
That day you crashed your car, you never should have smashed my guitar. I'm sorry, everything's a mess. Out of everyone, I loved you best, and I couldn't hate you if I wanted to. I tried to give you something real to hold on to. You gave me something that I could belong to.